What if the entire fall of the Republic ended because of a single recording? What if, on the very night Palpatine revealed himself as Darth Sidious, Anakin Skywalker didn't draw his lightsaber first? What if he reached for proof? Because in this timeline, Anakin hears Palpatine confess everything, that Dooku was his pawn, that the Clone War was a lie, that Order 66 was waiting in the shadows, and that Padmé's life was the final chain binding him to the dark side. Before sunrise, Mace Windu will move with evidence in his hands. Order 66 will begin before Sidious is ready. The clones will turn on Jedi and on each other, and Anakin Skywalker will face the one choice that can either destroy Darth Vader forever or create him even faster. This is the night the Sith nearly won everything, and the night one voice recording shattered their empire before it was born. This is what would happen if Anakin secretly recorded Palpatine before Order 66. Coruscant was covered in stormlight. Lightning crawled through the skyline like veins of blue fire, reflecting off the windows of the Senate district. Far below, the endless traffic of the city roared like a mechanical ocean. But high above it all, in the private chambers of Chancellor Palpatine, the air felt still, watchful, predatory. Anakin Skywalker entered with a storm already raging inside him. The Jedi Council did not trust him. The war had drained him. His nightmares of Padmé dying had become sharper, closer, more real. And at the center of all of it stood one man who always seemed calm. Palpatine, the man who listened, the man who understood, the man who kept putting poison into Anakin's fear and calling it wisdom. Anakin stepped forward, his cloak still damp from the night air. Palpatine stood near the grand window, hands folded behind his back, staring down at the city as if it already belonged to him. "Ah," the Chancellor said softly. "My boy, you look troubled." Anakin didn't answer immediately, because tonight, something felt different. Palpatine wasn't playing the patient mentor. He wasn't hiding behind careful words. He was pressing, pulling, almost impatient. And in Anakin's belt was a small, palm-sized Naboo holo-recorder, an old diplomatic device Padmé had once given him so he could store private messages without using Republic channels. He had almost forgotten it was there, almost. Palpatine spoke first. "The Jedi are asking you to betray your friendship with me," he said. "And yet they call themselves Guardians of Peace." Anakin clenched his jaw. "They think you're hiding something." Palpatine slowly turned. "Of course I am." That answer hit Anakin harder than any shout could have. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. But with one subtle motion beneath his cloak, he pressed his thumb against the recorder. A faint light blinked, once then went dark. Recording. Palpatine stepped closer. "You've felt it for a long time, haven't you?" he whispered. "The hypocrisy, the arrogance, the fear they have of your power." Anakin stared at him. "What are you saying?" "I am saying," Palpatine replied, "that the Jedi are not the future of this galaxy. You are." Anakin's voice lowered. "You knew Dooku, better than you ever admitted." A smile touched Palpatine's face. Count Dooku served his purpose. Anakin felt ice run through him. "Served? Your purpose?" "The war required a face," Palpatine said. "A noble tyrant, a fallen idealist." Dooku played his role well. The room seemed to tilt. Anakin took one step forward. "You're saying you used him?" "I used all of them," Palpatine said, almost proudly. "Dooku, the Senate, the Jedi, even the clone army." Anakin's heartbeat thundered in his ears. "The clones," he whispered. Palpatine's eyes gleamed yellow in the shadows. "Yes, a masterpiece of obedience. An army born already, carrying the death of the Jedi inside them." That was the moment Anakin understood. Fives had not been mad. He had been right. The war, the manipulation, the Council's fear, the constant pressure, the lies, suddenly every piece aligned into one terrible shape. And then Palpatine said the words that nearly broke him. "There is only one power left that can save Padmé from death, and it does not belong to the Jedi." Anakin's head snapped up. Palpatine stepped into the light. "I am the Sith Lord you have been searching for. Silence. Not the silence of peace. The silence after the universe snaps in half." In the original fate of the galaxy, this was the moment everything collapsed. But here, Anakin did not act on rage. He acted on terror, because terror had finally become clarity. If he struck now, Palpatine would twist the story. If he fell now, Padme died. If he listened longer, perhaps he could still save everything. So Anakin asked the most dangerous question he could. "If you're so powerful, then why tell me now?" Palpatine smiled. "Because, my boy, by tomorrow, you will have nowhere else to turn." That line went into the recorder too. Every word, every confession, every trace of venom. Anakin backed away slowly. "I need time." Palpatine nodded, as if he had already won. "Of course you do. But remember this. Anakin the Jedi will ask you to choose duty over love. I am offering you the power to keep both." Anakin turned and walked out. Only when the chamber doors sealed behind him did he finally shake. His hands trembled so violently he nearly dropped the recorder. He didn't go to the council first. He went to the only person whose life had just been weaponized against him. Padme. Padme Amidala met him in her apartment, beneath dim Naboo lanterns and rain-streaked glass. She had seen him afraid before. She had seen him angry, wounded, even broken, but she had never seen him hollow. "Anakin," she whispered, stepping toward him. "What happened?" He couldn't answer. He just placed the recorder in her hands. Then he pressed play. Palpatine's voice filled the room like a curse. "Dooku served his purpose. I used all of them. The clone army. An army born carrying the death of the Jedi inside them. I am the Sith Lord you have been searching for." Padme's face drained of color. When it ended, she looked at Anakin not with fear of him, but fear for him. "He's been doing this to you for years," she said. Anakin sank into a chair. "He said he can save you." Padme's eyes hardened instantly. "No. He said he could control you." That line struck deeper than anything Palpatine had said. Because it was true. For the first time, Anakin saw the trap not as destiny, but as design. Padme knelt in front of him. "If you go to him alone," she said, "you become the story he wants. If you bring this to the Jedi, then for once, he doesn't control the truth." Anakin looked down at the recorder. A tiny thing, a fragile thing, and somehow, it carried the weight of the entire Republic. He stood. "Then we end this tonight." The Jedi Council chamber felt colder than ever. Mace Windu, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and the others listened in absolute silence as Palpatine's confession played through the chamber. No one moved, no one blinked. When it ended, Mace Windu's face became stone. The Sith Lord has finally shown his hand. Yoda closed his eyes. Clouded, the future remains, but revealed, the darkness now is. Anakin stepped forward. Fives was telling the truth. If the clones are compromised, then the temple isn't safe. None of us are. Mace gave his answer immediately. "We move on the Chancellor now." Anakin's pulse surged. "I'm coming with you." Mace turned sharply. "No." The word hit like a slap. In another life, that word would have pushed Anakin toward betrayal, but now Padme's voice was still in his head. "If you go to him alone, you become the story he wants." Mace stepped closer. "If this recording is real, then your role is more important than a blade. Stay here. If Sidious moves against the temple, we may need you alive." Anakin wanted to protest, wanted to run, wanted to fix everything with action. Instead, he did the impossible. He obeyed. And that single decision changed the galaxy. But Sidious had not ruled the Republic for years by waiting to be cornered. Because while Mace Windu and the Masters moved toward the Chancellor's office, Palpatine was already setting the next fire. And this time, when Order 66 began, it would not happen the way anyone expected. If you're enjoying this story, drop a like and subscribe. Because from here on, Coruscant becomes a battlefield, the clone army begins to fracture, and Anakin Skywalker finally learns what it costs to save the galaxy without losing himself. Mace Windu entered Palpatine's chambers with 3 Jedi Masters at his side. The Chancellor was waiting, not surprised. Waiting. "You have evidence against me," Palpatine said softly. "How disappointing." Mace ignited his blade. "In the name of the Galactic Senate, you are under arrest." For one heartbeat, everything held still. Then the room exploded into crimson light. Palpatine moved like a nightmare. The duel was savage, immediate, and horrifying. Blue and purple blades carved through the dark. Lightning flashed across the window glass. Furniture shattered. The first seconds killed 2 masters. The next seconds killed another. But this time there was no Anakin bursting in confused. No desperate interruption. No divided loyalty standing behind Mace Windu. Only judgment. Mace fought like a man cutting through fate itself. He drove Sidious backward across the chamber, forced him away from the desk, forced him away from the door, forced him down beneath the broken window where the stormlight painted both men in white fire. "Your reign ends tonight," Mace said. And for the first time in years, Palpatine looked afraid. But fear was only another mask. As Mace raised his blade for the final disarmament, Palpatine's free hand slipped beneath his sleeve and triggered a hidden priority signal. Not to the Senate, not to the courts, to the clone command net. A contingency code, an unfinished order, a desperate order. Order 66 had begun. Across Coruscant, clone troopers stiffened. Some heard the command clearly. Some received a broken version. Some felt nothing for half a second, then everything at once. At the Jedi Temple, several guards turned on their own commanders with terrifying speed. But because Anakin had brought the recording to the Council early, the Temple had not been left blind. Temple healers, alerted by the mention of the clones and fives, had already begun emergency scans on select units. A handful of chips had been identified. A handful of officers had been restrained. And that handful changed everything. Instead of one clean massacre, the Temple became chaos. Some clones opened fire on Jedi. Some clones froze in confusion. Some shouted that their brothers were malfunctioning. Some were cut down by the very men they served beside. The perfect machine of Sidious was suddenly grinding against itself. At the same time, urgent warnings blasted through hidden Jedi channels to Obi-Wan on Utapau, to Yoda on Kashyyyk, to any surviving knight who could still hear, "Do not trust the clones. The Chancellor is Sidious. The Order is real." For the first time in galactic history, Order 66 was not a clean execution. It was a civil war inside a conspiracy. And at the center of Coruscant, Anakin Skywalker finally ignited his lightsaber, not for Palpatine, but against the collapse Palpatine had unleashed. While the temple burned and Mace pursued the fleeing Sith Lord through hidden Senate corridors, Padme made her own move. She went to Bail Organa, then Mon Mothma, then every senator she still trusted. Palpatine had always ruled through one advantage, by controlling the story first. So Padme attacked the story. In an emergency Senate relay chamber, with alarms echoing through the district and Coruscant security collapsing around them, she loaded the recorder into a public holofeed. Bail looked at her in disbelief. "If we do this, there is no going back," Padme answered with cold certainty. There was no going back the moment he turned the Republic into a weapon, and then the recording played. Not in secret, not in the council chamber, not in a private apartment, across the Republic. Palpatine's own voice spread through the Senate systems, through military command relays, through holoscreens in transport lanes and barracks and government halls. Dooku served his purpose. I used all of them. The clone army, an army born carrying the death of the Jedi inside them. I am the Sith Lord you have been searching for. The lie cracked. Not everywhere, not instantly, but enough. Enough that some senators panicked. Enough that some clone officers hesitated. Enough that worlds who would have accepted the Jedi purge without question now saw something much worse. They were living inside a manufactured war. And when Sidious felt that broadcast hit the system, he stopped running. Because now he had only one option left. Kill Skywalker. Kill Padme. Kill the proof. Anakin found him beneath the Senate platform elevators, deep in the steel heart of Coruscant, where the city became heat, cables, and shadow. Palpatine stood in the darkness like a wound in the Force. His face was twisted, his robes were burned, and for the first time he looked less like a chancellor than the creature he had always been. "You fool," Sidious hissed. "You would trade power for the approval of people who will fear you forever." Anakin raised his blade. "No," he said. "I traded fear for the truth." Sidious attacked with a scream of blue lightning. The duel was monstrous. Anakin drove forward with raw fury, but this was not Mustafar rage. This was focused rage. Controlled rage. Every strike carried years of manipulation. Every block the weight of lives almost lost. Sidious hammered him backward through hanging cables and reactor vents, taunting him with Padmé's name. "She still dies, Skywalker. She dies because you chose weakness." For a moment, one terrible, trembling moment, Anakin faltered. Because that was the deepest wound, the oldest wound, the one lie he still wanted to believe. And Sidious felt it. He smiled. Then another blade ignited. Purple. Mace Windu had arrived. The battle became impossible to look away from blue, red, and violet light cutting through smoke and steam. The scream of lightning against Cortosis plating. The floor shaking as systems overloaded around them. Sidious fought like a cornered god. But now his future was gone. No hidden apprentice behind Mace. No silent republic waiting to trust him. No perfect Order 66 left to finish the job. Just exposure. Just collapse. Just two men he had broken for years, finally standing against him together. Anakin saw the opening first. Mace deflected a burst of lightning high. Sidious turned, and Anakin drove his blade through the shadow beneath the Sith Lord's guard. Palpatine gasped, not with anger, with disbelief. As if the galaxy had dared to refuse the role he had written for it, he fell to his knees. "You were supposed to become Vader." Anakin stepped closer, breathing hard. "Then this is the first time I was ever truly free." And with one final strike, Darth Sidious died in the dark beneath his own Senate. The war did not end cleanly. Too many Jedi had already fallen. Too many clones had already obeyed. Too many systems had already been poisoned by fear. But the difference was everything. The Jedi Order survived, wounded, humbled, but alive. The truth about the inhibitor chips became public. Kamino fell under immediate investigation. The Senate split, then reformed under emergency scrutiny. And the Republic, for the first time in years, looked at itself without Palpatine's shadow standing behind the mirror. Obi-Wan returned to Coruscant, to a galaxy he almost didn't recognize. Yoda came back not to ashes, but to survivors. Rex and other clones who broke free helped expose the scale of the manipulation. And Padmé lived, not because of Sith secrets, not because of forbidden power, but because the man who loved her had, for once, chosen trust over terror. Luke and Leia were born into a broken republic, but not an empire. And Anakin Skywalker? He was never untouched by darkness again. No one who had stood that close to Sidious ever could be. But he did something far greater than becoming the chosen one in legend. He became the man who stopped believing that fear was fate, the man who heard the devil speak, and chose to save the galaxy with proof instead of power. And that is what would happen if Anakin secretly recorded Palpatine before Order 66. A single device, a single confession, a single moment where Anakin chose patience over panic. And the Empire died before it could take its first breath, and violet light cutting through smoke and steam, the scream of lightning against Cortosis plating, the floor shaking as systems overloaded around them. Sidious fought like a cornered god. But now his future was gone. No hidden apprentice behind Mace. No silent republic waiting to trust him. No perfect Order 66 left to finish the job. Just exposure. Just collapse. Just two men he had broken for years, finally standing against him together. Anakin saw the opening first. Mace deflected a burst of lightning high. Sidious turned, and Anakin drove his blade through the shadow beneath the Sith Lord's guard. Palpatine gasped, not with anger, with disbelief. As if the galaxy had dared to refuse the role he had written for it, he fell to his knees. "You were supposed to become Vader." Anakin stepped closer, breathing hard. "Then this is the first time I was ever truly free." And with one final strike, Darth Sidious died in the dark beneath his own Senate. The war did not end cleanly. Too many Jedi had already fallen. Too many clones had already obeyed. Too many systems had already been poisoned by fear. But the difference was everything. The Jedi Order survived, wounded, humbled, but alive. The truth about the inhibitor chips became public. Kamino fell under immediate investigation. The Senate split, then reformed under emergency scrutiny. And the Republic, for the first time in years, looked at itself without Palpatine's shadow standing behind the mirror. Obi-Wan returned to Coruscant, to a galaxy he almost didn't recognize. Yoda came back not to ashes, but to survivors. Rex and other clones who broke free helped expose the scale of the manipulation. And Padmé lived, not because of Sith secrets, not because of forbidden power, but because the man who loved her had, for once, chosen trust over terror. Luke and Leia were born into a broken republic, but not an empire. And Anakin Skywalker? He was never untouched by darkness again. No one who had stood that close to Sidious ever could be. But he did something far greater than becoming the chosen one in legend. He became the man who stopped believing that fear was fate, the man who heard the devil speak, and chose to save the galaxy with proof instead of power. And that is what would happen if Anakin secretly recorded Palpatine before Order 66. A single device, a single confession, a single moment where Anakin chose patience over panic. And the Empire died before it could take its first breath.